You have just finished a large meal and your body feels heavy and slow. You already know the best move now is standing up and walking briefly. Walking after meals helps muscles absorb glucose before it becomes visceral fat. This is basic metabolic science and has been repeatedly confirmed by research. Unfortunately, real life rarely allows a perfect post-meal walking routine. Sometimes you are stuck in a Zoom meeting, unable to leave your chair. Sometimes you are seated on a long flight with no freedom to move. Sometimes you are driving in traffic and physically cannot stand or walk. Or sometimes you are simply exhausted and sitting feels absolutely necessary. For decades, sitting after eating was considered a serious metabolic mistake. We were told sitting immediately shuts down fat burning inside the body. Some experts even claim sitting is the new smoking for metabolism. According to this belief, fat storage begins the moment you sit down. But new discoveries in muscle physiology reveal an unexpected metabolic loophole. There is a hidden muscle in your lower leg with unique biological rules. This muscle behaves very differently compared to most muscles in your body. When activated correctly, it burns fuel while you remain completely seated. No sweating, no heavy breathing, no standing, and no visible effort required. It quietly pulls glucose and fats directly out of your bloodstream. This muscle functions like a metabolic vacuum cleaner running silently. Today, we are decoding the science behind this overlooked metabolic muscle. It is called the soleus, and it was designed to work constantly, not for jumping or sprinting, but for keeping humans upright all day. Evolution shaped this muscle to resist fatigue better than most muscles. Because of that design, it can remain active for extremely long periods. However, endurance alone is not what makes the soleus special. Its real advantage comes from the fuel source it prefers. Most muscles primarily burn stored sugar, known as glycogen. The soleus prefers pulling energy directly from circulating blood. It feeds on glucose and fats floating through your bloodstream. This redirects energy from your meal away from fat storage pathways. Instead of reaching your liver or belly, the fuel is burned immediately. This process happens without increasing heart rate or stress hormones. You burn energy while your body still perceives complete rest. This creates a rare metabolic advantage in modern sedentary lifestyles. Scientific studies show major improvements in glucose control using this muscle. Participants significantly reduced insulin needs while staying seated comfortably. Lower insulin levels mean less visceral fat stored around vital organs. Despite this, most people never hear about this muscle or method. The reason is that most people train this muscle incorrectly. Standing calf raises mainly activate the large outer calf muscle. That outer muscle is designed for strength, not metabolic efficiency. To activate the soleus properly, the knee must be bent. Bending the knee mechanically shuts down the outer calf muscle. This forces the soleus to perform nearly all the work. This brings us directly to the exact movement protocol. The movement is known as the Soleus Push Up. It appears simple, but precise execution is extremely important. The setup determines whether metabolism or muscle fatigue is triggered. When done correctly, it mimics walking without taking a single step. The Soleus push-up starts with sitting comfortably on a stable, supportive chair. Both feet should rest flat on the floor in a relaxed, natural position. Your knees must remain bent close to a 90-degree seated angle. This knee angle is essential and should never be ignored or altered. Bending the knees removes mechanical advantage from the larger outer calf muscle. This mechanical shutdown forces the deeper soleus muscle to perform alone fully. Next, keep your toes firmly planted against the floor throughout the movement. Without lifting your toes slowly, raise your heels upward toward their highest point. Lift the heels only as high as comfortable without straining the lower leg. This upward motion directly contracts the deep fatigue-resistant soleus muscle fibers. Now comes the most important detail that determines metabolic success during this movement. Allow your heels to drop naturally back down toward the floor surface. Do not lower the heels slowly or resist gravity in any way. When the heel contacts the floor, one complete repetition is finished there. The motion should feel light, rhythmic, relaxed, and almost effortless throughout execution. Imagine gently bouncing the heels rather than lifting weight against resistance forces. There should be no intense burning sensation developing inside the calf muscles. Burning cramping or fatigue indicates you are recruiting the wrong muscles here. This movement is not designed as strength training or muscle building exercise. The true objective is metabolic activation without fatigue, stress, or discomfort signals. Because the soleus resists fatigue, it can remain active for long durations. This movement can be performed continuously without requiring breaks or recovery periods. You can perform it while working, typing emails, or watching television comfortably. The motion remains subtle and does not disrupt posture or attention levels. Now we connect soleus activation directly to visceral fat reduction mechanisms inside body. Visceral fat accumulation is primarily driven by insulin and cortisol levels chronically. The Soleus Push Up directly influences both of these key hormones simultaneously together. First, it improves glucose handling and control following meals significantly every time. Active soleus muscles continuously demand glucose from the circulating bloodstream after eating. This steady demand prevents dangerous blood sugar spikes after eating large meals. When glucose remains stable, insulin secretion stays lower and controlled throughout the day. Lower insulin levels reduce activation of fat storage pathways, especially around vital organs. This is particularly important for fat stored deep around internal organs inside abdomen. Second, the Soleus push-up avoids triggering the body stress response during activity. Unlike intense exercise, it does not significantly elevate heart rate levels at rest. It produces no lactic acid and no signals of physiological threat internally. Without threat signals, cortisol levels remain relatively low and stable during movement. Burning energy without stress is extremely rare in modern metabolism research studies. This combination creates ideal conditions for efficient fat oxidation inside the body. The body burns fuel while remaining calm, relaxed, and unstressed internally overall. There is also an important effect on circulating blood fats after meals. After eating, triglyceride levels rise temporarily in the bloodstream following most meals. High circulating triglycerides increase fat storage risk in the liver and abdomen. Soleus activation increases activity of the enzyme lipoprotein lipase locally in muscles. This enzyme helps clear fats from the blood more efficiently after meals. Triglycerides are burned before they can reach the liver or abdomen areas. You are actively filtering blood lipids while remaining completely seated after eating. This significantly reduces post-meal fat storage without physical exertion or effort required. Very few movements combine glucose control and lipid clearance this efficiently together. This is exactly why the Soleus push-up is metabolically unique among movements. Now let us explore how to integrate this movement into daily modern life. The first scenario is long meetings, where standing up is socially impossible. During calls, simply begin the heel rhythm quietly beneath your desk surface. Because the soleus avoids fatigue, it will not drain mental energy levels. Many people report improved focus due to increased lower leg blood flow. The second scenario is travel, especially flights, cars, and long train rides. Travel normally shuts down metabolism while stress hormones quietly rise inside body. Soleus push-ups keep metabolic activity alive, even while fully restrained during travel. They reduce swelling, improve circulation, and limit fat storage signals systemically overall. The third scenario is after dinner, when walking outside feels unrealistic sometimes. Rain, darkness, safety concerns, or fatigue often prevent evening walks entirely altogether. In these moments, Soleus push-ups become a metabolic backup system for control. 15 minutes seated can significantly blunt post-meal glucose spikes in bloodstream levels. This does not replace walking, but protects metabolism when walking fails temporarily. Walking still provides superior whole-body benefits, including balance and mood regulation. It engages vision, posture, breathing, and neurological coordination simultaneously through gentle movement. However, walking requires time-space and a deliberate interruption of tasks' workflow. The Soleus push-up requires none of those external commitments or environmental changes. It runs quietly in the background during otherwise sedentary time periods daily. This breaks the association between sitting still and automatic fat storage responses. You appear sedentary, but metabolically, you are actively moving fuel through muscle. This reframes sitting as neutral rather than inherently damaging to human metabolism. We are not encouraging permanent sitting or avoiding movement entirely throughout life. Movement remains essential for joint health, longevity, and mental resilience overall well-being. This technique simply fills the gaps when movement is temporarily restricted by. It gives you control during unavoidable sedentary modern situations without extra effort. The instruction is simple and deliberately minimal by design for daily use. Sit with knees bent, feet planted, and heels free to move rhythmically. Lift the heels, drop them passively, and repeat continuously during stationary moments. This isolates the soleus, a muscle evolved to work endlessly on fuel. It runs primarily on blood sugar and circulating fats without rapid fatigue. You are redirecting energy away from storage toward immediate oxidation inside muscle. This is a quiet biological signal, opposing fat accumulation during sedentary periods. Keep walking whenever possible because movement remains irreplaceable for long-term health outcomes. But when movement is impossible, keep the heels quietly moving beneath you. This maintains metabolic signaling even during forced stillness in modern daily life. You are no longer fully sedentary at the metabolic level inside body. You have converted sitting time into active metabolic time without disruption externally. This is using evolutionary biology to navigate modern constraints efficiently, calmly, daily. The soleus never sleeps, and neither does fat storage within the body. Using one against the other shifts the metabolic balance in your favor. This is not exercise, but strategic metabolic signaling during everyday sedentary life. Small movements can create disproportionate physiological effects when properly timed and applied. The Soleus Push Up is one of those movements hiding in plain sight. It requires awareness, consistency, and patience, rather than intensity or physical strain. Over time, these signals accumulate into meaningful metabolic change without burnout risk. This approach respects both biology and modern lifestyle realities without forcing extremes. Use movement when possible, and optimization when movement is limited by choice. Sit less when you can, but metabolize more when sitting is required. Keep the heels moving and keep the metabolic signal alive inside body.